You're listening to Two Vatos Talking. A podcast by two dads discussing life's challenges and blessings with the goal to create a sincere community for men. We're your co-hosts, Eduardo and Spencer.
This is a TVT BroTips episode on basic manners every vato should know. And as a dad, especially as a dad of a son, you have a son and a daughter, and I have two daughters. But is there something in particular that you wanted your son to know?
Yeah, so starting at a young age, so my son was probably 3-4 years old, and I would take him to my work and I would tell him, hey, son, look, you're going to meet a lot of people. These are really friendly people. Everybody's like really excited to meet you. And I said, it's really important that you look them right in the eye and you shake their hand. And when you shake their hand, you stick the web of your hand into their web. And then I would practice with them. And I would tell them, look, this is really important, kid, because when you make that hand, that physical connection, you have to let them know that you're a man, right? I mean, he's a little kid, but I was like, you got to let them know that you're there. And you don't want to be limp-wristed. You don't want to like pull your hand away too quick. You want to like grab their hand, squeeze it, and let them know that you're there. You tell them what your name is, and then you say, hey, pleasure to meet you. Basic, right?
And how old was he when you started to teach him that?
Yeah, he was like 3-4 years old, I think. He was little, and it wasn't a one shot, one kill. It was like every time we went somewhere and I knew that he was going to meet people, I always made sure that it was like, listen, son, remember what we talked about? Shake my hand. And I would have him shake my hand. And then I was like, no, you got to like put that web right into my hand. And he's like, okay. And so he would just jam his hand into mine. And I go, now squeeze my hand, and he's little. And, but that stayed with him. And as he became a young adult, like in high school, he would come home and he would tell me, hey, guess what, Dad? Right? Like I met such and such's girlfriend, and we went to her house and I met her dad, and the dad goes, wow, that's a good firm handshake. He goes, good job. Right. And so he commented because my son presented himself well, and this is like him at 16 years old.
Right. And that's the thing. I mean, you start early, and some people may be listening and say, wow, 3 years old, that's too early. Really, we start teaching our kids things that are important to us at a very young age, right? Because they can pick up. They're sponges. And it's a simple thing to learn, but it's not automatic.
Right.
So you might as well teach them, right? Teach them the way you think it's important. And like you did, like you practiced it. So my dad also taught me the importance of a firm handshake. That was something that was important to him, and he passed it along to me and my brother. But you mentioned your son was 16 when he, relayed that story to you. And so I was about that age, 15, 16, when I was trying to raise money for a program I was in called Amigos de las Americas. And we were going to go to Mexico and build latrines and some other things. It's kind of like Peace Corps for teenagers.
Nice.
Much smaller profile. It's a 6-week program, but it costs money to go. And that's just the way it was. So I had to raise, I don't know what it was, $1,500 or something like that, maybe $2,000. And so I had the idea of doing a barbecue cook-off in Houston, Texas in general, but in Houston, in our community, particularly the Mexican-American community, selling barbecue plates was very common. People would sell, barbecue chicken, beans, and rice. Right.
Okay.
And get a soda. And back in the day, it was probably $5, $7, who knows?
And that was your fundraiser.
That was one of the fundraisers. But I needed a place to do it. And there was a bar. It no longer exists. It was called Stacks in Northside Houston. And they had a big barbecue pit. And, my dad would frequent that place, and he knew the owner. And we happened to be there. And he said, there he is, son. That's the owner. That's Mr. So-and-so. And I thought my dad was going to walk over with me and, basically handle everything for me.
Right.
And he said, okay, And I'm like, yeah. He goes, you're going to go over there. You're going to introduce yourself. You're going to tell him what you're doing. And you're going to ask him if he can help out.
Yeah.
Right. In that manner. And I was scared because it's one thing to say hello, shake hands, introduce yourself. But I wasn't used to making deals per se, or asking people to help me out.
No, it's a big step, you know. First you have to know how to present yourself, and then you have a mission, right? You're trying to ask the owner of the bar for his place.
Right.
And so it's a lot. And then you're going solo, right? Your dad's just
my
throwing
dad
you
said,
out
go
there.
ahead, go. There he is in the corner, sitting in his booth. Go ask him.
Yeah.
He didn't even come with me. And I don't think I nailed it because he said, well, what happened? And, you know, I don't recall really getting the deal per se.
Yeah.
And so he goes, no, you got to go back and clarify. Right. So
Right.
it's, you know, it's not, like you said, it's not a one and done. It was a learning process.
Right.
And I had to learn how to do it. And he did say yes. And it was, you know, success, and we did it. But there's some basic manners there. There's some basic protocol. There's some basic, how do you present yourself? These are not as simple as they may seem on the surface. It
takes practice.
It takes practice.
Yeah.
And you got to get used to it. And so these,
well, that was good on your dad to throw you in the fire a little bit, you know?
yeah, my dad always threw my brother and I in the fire. That was nothing new for us. We were always, you know, being tested in different ways. But these bro tips we're going to do from time to time.
Sure.
Between episodes. They're going to be a little bit shorter, but nonetheless, we think helpful. And once again, some listeners may be, well, I know how to do that. That's obvious.
Right.
Well, not everyone knows how to do these things, number one. And number two, not everybody has a father figure in their life.
Yeah.
Who taught them to do some things that seem simple. But the simple things are some of the most important things. So here we go. We're going to talk about some of these things that are important to us, that our parents instilled in us. And the first one, it seems obvious. And I'm not even the best at it all the time.
Sure.
But it's greeting people. Now, you say greeting people. Yeah, well, saying hello to people. Whether you're at the store, you may see someone at the store. That's so-and-so from work, or so-and-so from the neighborhood. You say, I don't really want to say hi to them right now. I don't look good, or I don't feel good, or, you know, or in my case at the office, you know, I'm on campus. There's a lot of buildings, and you see people all the time that you kind of know. You've had them, you know, been Zooms with them or other meetings, and you pass them up, but no one says hello.
Yeah.
And that's a bad habit. And so the first one is just greeting people. If you ever go to Mexico or other countries, it's common in other countries, but Mexico is a great example. You can be walking down the street, complete strangers, and it's common for people to walk past you and say, buenos dias, good morning, buenas tardes, good afternoon, buenas noches, good evening, and you reciprocate.
Right.
It's just a common courtesy. So when you see someone, go across that room, say hello, say, hey, I remember you from so-and-so.
Yeah.
Or, you know, hey, it's good to see you again. How you been?
This is an interesting conversation just because I'm picturing myself in different scenarios where, yeah, it would be the polite thing to do or say, right? And then there's a lot of misinterpretation, maybe. For example, like as I'm jogging, like if I'm going down jogging and it's a two-way path, right? And then there's another jogger coming the other way, I'll like just kind of raise my hand and just kind of nod.
Right.
And I get a little offended if other people don't do that back, right? And so sometimes it's like, hey, how you doing? Or hello or whatever. Separately is at the gym. Mm-hmm. I see the same people all the time, never talk to them, never even acknowledge them. Mm-hmm. And so those are kind of one-offs that I think are kind of interesting too. You know, I'll say hi to the people at the front desk, at the smoothie bar, people like that. But unless I've gotten into the habit of saying hi to the same people over and over again, which I haven't, I told myself in 2026 that I was going to try to talk to more people at the gym. But
that's a good simple resolution, but it's solid.
And I think a lot of people look at it like, oh, you're trying to pick her up or you're trying to like whatever, right? No, it's like, man, you see the same people over and over again. You know, it's like,
might as well say hello and introduce yourself.
Yeah.
And
especially like
make a friend possibly, or at least a solid acquaintance.
My thing is I don't want to really do that too much because then you end up spending a bunch of time yip yapping at the gym. But now if we're like walking or even like walking into a supermarket and people are walking out like, hey, hello, or something like that, I think it's polite.
It is polite. And I'm talking about people that you kind of know,
Yeah.
but maybe you don't. It's just common in a lot of places where people don't say hello, good morning, how you doing? And you mentioned that those little communities, so joggers,
Yeah.
they're acknowledging each other. I see it with motorcyclists all the time.
They have their motorcycle wave.
Yeah. They're like, hey, I recognize you. I see you. We're both on the street, riding our bike, having a good time.
I think that's
but also
a
kind of
rule.
being safe. Like
True.
we recognize that we're taking a risk with our lifestyle.
Yeah. Also, Jeep owners. Did you know that Jeep owners have the wave?
Oh, okay. I know they do the duck thing.
They do the ducking, right?
They'll leave little ducks on each other's Jeeps or something.
So that's one thing, but they also wave. They have the Jeep wave.
Okay.
And that's also like regardless of what Jeep you have, it's just the Jeep wave.
Now, little slightly off topic, but this is how I grew up.
Yeah.
And I still do it here. If someone lets me in their lane and I have to get in front of them,
you gotta say hi.
I always wave to them.
You have to.
But a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
And I think, it's just these little common courtesies that say, hey, I see you. Just sort of embracing each other's humanity a little bit. They seem small, but when someone doesn't say hello to me and I know they know me, I get a little like, hey, why didn't they say hello?
Right.
But then I tell myself, hey, why didn't you say hello?
Yeah.
You be the person that goes up to them and says hello and make their day a little better. Right. And that's what it is. Just greeting people it's a simple task. It's a simple exercise, but it goes a long way.
And, since we're both dads, raising your kids to do that too, as like you're walking around or you're like, hey, good morning, or hey, hello, how are you? Or something like that. Hopefully they'll pick up on that and then they'll reciprocate that as they're growing up and they're on their own.
Right. And part of it is what we intentionally teach them, but they watch us all the time.
They're always taking notes
from
on
the
us.
moment
Mental
they're
notes.
little.
Yeah.
Still as adults, right? So my younger daughter, who's only 19, I'm a little surprised because as a child she was very quiet, but now she knows how to have great conversations with all kinds of people in all walks of life. And I'm really proud of that because a lot of kids today, say kids, right? Teenagers, young adults, they're not very good at it. And it's not necessarily all their fault. One reason they're not so good at it is because everybody's glued to their phones.
Right.
And they don't know how to have these one-on-one, face-to-face conversations. But she's actually become pretty good at it. And I'm really proud of her for that. And not to say that, I taught her that or she got it from me, but I know that she saw that from both her parents and other people in her circle of influence.
Yeah, so she's marrying you guys.
Yeah, and then it's becoming part of her character, which I really appreciate.
That's great. All right, well, let's move on to the next one. Again, just common stuff, right? Stand up when you're going to greet someone or introduce yourself. Especially another man, right? You shouldn't, at least for me, I shouldn't be sitting on my butt and then another guy comes in and I shake his hand and I'm sitting down, he's standing up. Like, just stand up.
It looks a little weak.
It looks really weak.
Like you think you're royalty or something.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's just rude, honestly. Like if a guy just doesn't even get up, it's like just kind of puts his hand up. It's like, bro, just stand up.
Yeah.
Right? Stand up. Especially a lady, right? You get up, shake their hand, you greet them, give them a hug, whatever, but when you stay on the sitting down,
it kind of seems like you're saying you're not important enough for me to get up.
I'm on a different level.
Yeah.
Right. Like who would you have to stand
Thanks
up for?
Thanks for coming and say hello to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay sitting.
Yeah. It's pretty rude.
It is rude.
Yeah. And I'm glad we both agree.
No, and it's a simple thing. And there's something about it. When you stand up, I don't know. I think of my dad sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I would have never seen him stay seated. Right. And so you stand up and you introduce yourself or you shake their hand.
Right.
And so speaking of, the handshake, we've touched on it, but
yeah, the handshake I think is super important.
Yeah.
I think it's tremendously important. And I'm trying to remember if somebody taught me how to shake somebody's hand, but I think I saw it in a video or something like that about like what you're supposed to do. There's a lot of etiquette, especially after you, like, as you're going through college and then you're going to go into the workforce, like job interviews, stuff like that. How to dress, how to introduce yourself, and then how to make that handshake.
Yeah.
Especially in the business world. So your first interview out of college, you're on your nice little shiny new clothes and stuff. Man, you better have a good solid handshake. That's all I.
And I like firm. I like firm.
Yeah.
Obviously, particularly from a man, not soft, not.
It can't be soft.
Yeah, not like a dead fish.
No.
But on the flip side, I've had my hand squeezed so hard by some dudes, like a former Marines or something. I'm like, hey man, I need this hand to type or to make phone calls later. I need those bones.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So don't squeeze the heck out of someone's hand. Just firm.
So so there was, I think I was like 18 years old and I met this guy and he was like super big, right? Just naturally, he was like 6'5" or something. Really nice guy. And when I shook his hand, he like crushed my hand, right? And I was like, sweet Jesus, like what just happened, right? And so we talked about it after. He goes, oh yeah, my dad always taught me just to squeeze as hard as I could, And I was like, bro, you are a monster though, right?
Yeah. Yeah, don't squeeze as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Firm.
Nice firm one, right?
Firm. Yeah,
and I think I do a firm one. And so funny story of a friend of mine, he's a plumber, and I would run into him. And then I'd like, it's another guy and he's a plumber. He's working with his hands all day. So man, I'd give him a good handshake, right?
Yeah.
And then one time he goes, God damn, bro, like what are you trying to do to me? And I was like, what? He goes, you crushed my hand, right? I was like, what, bro? You're a plumber. Your hands are like iron, right?
Vice grips.
Yeah. And he's all, but dude, he goes, every time I talk to you, you freaking crush my hand, right? So after that, I kind of have to, right?
Yeah.
No, but I'll take it easy. And now it's just like a joke amongst us.
That also another point here. Not everybody has a firm handshake.
No.
And you go to another country or someone from another country comes here and it's not part of every culture. Don't necessarily look down on someone because they don't have a firm handshake. It is a kind of a Western thing, American thing.
Yeah.
But we both agree that it's something that's part of who we are and that we think is important.
I think, especially in the business world, especially in the social world.
Yeah, totally.
You got to, and the way I look at it is you got to look at them in the eye, you got to shake their hand, and you got to like let them know that you're another man, So not to like overpower him, but just to let him know like, hey, I'm here with you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I try to not to do that with women. If I shake their hand, sometimes I think I go too hard.
Just kind of,
Now some women have shaken my hand,
Yeah,
and they have really
That's
vice
true,
grip
too.
handshakes,
No,
right? And I'm like,
I've run
damn.
across that too, but no, just a slight firm with a woman, just a slight firm.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so next on the list is related to that.
Yeah, the looking in the eye, right?
Yeah.
So I think that goes hand in hand with the handshake,
Mm-hmm.
but it also goes just in conversation, where a lot of kids nowadays, they don't want to look at people in the eye, so
Yeah.
they'll look down at their hands or look down at your shoes or something, and you really need to just look at people in the eye, right? Look people in the eye and just have the confidence to just look at them. You're not like non-blinking staring in the eye, right? But you're
not trying to look into the depths of their soul.
Yeah, trying to look in the last week or something.
Right.
No, it's just like, hey, how you doing?
And you
and
can
then
have a slight smile, and it looks it's casual and it's informal,
Right.
But you're looking at them. You're present. You're acknowledging them.
yeah,
Right.
and I guess with the presence or the significance of phones, I think there's a lot of disrespect if you're like on your phone all the time and you're trying to talk to somebody, especially if it's for sure like a interview. Like put your phone away, right? You're not gonna put it on silent.
Exactly.
Leave it outside, even. I mean, just whatever. You don't want to be disrespectful and checking a text or something like that. There's exceptions to all of that, but as a norm, I think if you want to be respectful to somebody, put your phone away.
Yeah.
And just show them undivided attention.
Like anything else, phones are a habit. So even when you're not engaging with someone, get into the habit of putting your phone somewhere away from you.
Yeah.
Getting off your phone for a bit, paying attention to what you're doing in the moment. That way, when you're with someone, you're not also checking your phone and you don't even realize you're just constantly looking for that little adrenaline hit of, oh, did I get a text? Oh, did I get a notification?
Oh no, it gets annoying.
Or you're checking the score, whatever the case is.
Yeah, I have a family member who I'm like, brother, like you don't even live in this town, right? You're only here for a week out of the year. Like,
pay attention to me.
The Instagram reel you're about to send me, bro, I don't want to get it, right? Like, I'd rather talk to you face to face instead of you looking at Instagram so you could share a reel with me.
Right.
I'm like, put the phone away, bro.
I'm
like,
right here.
Yeah, like this is why you flew all the way over here, right? This is why you flew for 2-3 hours.
It's habit building.
It's horrible. I think we really need to do a better job of, and I'm guilty of that too, right? We need to do a better job of just putting the phone away. And then especially if you're in the presence of other people, right? Like, let's just talk, right?
Well, part of it is our society. We're very busy. And so there's a lot of multitasking, whether it's phone or checking email or looking at something. And, it's important to give people the respect and attention, especially in relationships.
Right.
Right. Let them know you're listening to them and engage with them. So thinking about when you first meet someone, you're on a date, or you're just with a friend, whatever the case may be. I always try to open the car door for a woman.
Oh, we're talking about opening doors, being a gentleman now.
Yeah, being a gentleman.
Yeah.
Right. Opening car doors, opening doors to a restaurant.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know how common that is anymore, or if guys aren't doing it, or young guys aren't doing it. I've always done it.
Yeah, I think it's now the exception. Like I don't think it's common, and maybe it's going to make a comeback. Hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are we teaching our kids to open doors? I try to tell my son to like open doors, especially like if we're going into a restaurant or a supermarket and there's like a couple in front of us. I'm like, hey, open the door for them.
As I'm going to the gym, walking my way into the gym, people are coming in and out. About half the time, there's a woman approaching the door as I'm approaching the door, or she's a few steps behind me.
Yeah.
I always open the door for her.
Right.
Particularly, and if it's an older woman and she's not even a few steps behind me, but I see her walking down towards a parking lot, I'll slow down.
Yeah.
Because I know we're going to get there kind of close, and I don't want to just walk in front of her and then that's it. I'll walk slower so I can get to the door and then open it for her as she's coming in.
Yeah.
Most of the time when it's a woman who's middle-aged or older, they always say thank you.
Right.
Most of the younger women do too, but every now and then there's a woman who I open the door for them and they just walk through.
Rude.
And don't even acknowledge me.
It's a two-way street here. You know?
So men should always open the door. Car door, doors to restaurants. Now, some women will wait for you to, when you open the car door for them, you drive to a restaurant, and if you notice her sitting there, they're waiting for you to come around and open the door for them to get out.
Yeah.
That's not as common anymore. Most women will just let themselves out the door.
Yeah.
But if they're waiting, go ahead and open the door for them on that side too.
Well, I go a little bit further. I actually tell them not to move. I go, just stay right here and let me get the door, and then I'll come around. That way there's no like misinterpretation. Yeah. And now if they choose to open the door, that's a little bit rude on them, I think. Because,
you think so?
Yeah. I mean, unless she tells me like, no, I got my door, like, don't worry about it or something like that. But if it's like a first date or something like that, then yeah,
I've been on a few dates with some really nice women lately. Well, I don't know lately, but the last few months or so.
Right.
And I'll open the door for them. They sit in the car seat. I'll close the door, and then they'll reach over the console or whatever and
try to unlock your door
and open the door for me from the inside a little bit. I mean, the door's just ajar. It's not fully open, but
that's old school, man.
I thought, wow, well, that's really sweet of her. She didn't have to do that. You might, pull a muscle or something trying to reach that far over. But, I thought that was a really nice gesture.
That's super, in my eyes, I think that's super thoughtful of her.
Yeah, totally. And I think the key here is every time someone does these little things for you, just thank you.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Even a different situation. So I was that dad, with the kids and stuff when my kids were little. And so you got your hands full, you're pulling a stroller, you got your hand, you're with your, the whole family. And so if I see that, I'll open the door for them.
Yeah.
Right? And I'll tell them, oh, you got your hands full. Come on through. Yeah. And they're like, man, thank you so much. Right. And they're super appreciative.
It's such a nice gesture, and it's so basic, and
it doesn't cost anything.
I get it.
It doesn't cost anything.
Yeah. Talking about car seats in a way,
Yeah.
this is not as common. We don't think about it as much because not everybody rides the bus. But in Mexico, it's very common to ride the bus. It's very common to ride the metro, the
mass transit,
the train, mass transit. Exactly. Sometimes they're full, and people are standing in the aisle.
Yeah.
And it's very common, at least when I was in Mexico, living there in different parts of my life, that if you had a seat and a woman, particularly a woman, elderly woman, or a woman with a child, you get up and you offer her your seat.
Yeah.
That may mean that you're going to ride the rest of your ride standing up, holding on to something.
Too bad for you. Yeah.
But it's an automatic.
Yeah.
There is no,
it's not even a,
should I, or does she want it? Maybe how far does she have? No.
It's a given.
You get up.
Yeah.
And then you ask her, would you like to take my seat?
Yeah.
Right. These are little things, but they go a long way. And for us, I think it's about being a man, being a gentleman, but really just having value in yourself.
Well, just being having a knowing that that's the right thing to do.
Right.
You know, and then doing it.
Yeah.
Despite how tired you are or whatever, you know, and if it's just a gentleman thing to do, it's like, okay, well, that's just a gentleman thing to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen a lot, I don't think, anymore, or it's not as
well, we're going to turn the tide back a little bit. I think
we're trying to.
Yeah. So what do you got next? Speaking of sort of making yourself.
Yeah. So here's another thing that people don't do a lot. Just taking a walk. Right.
Okay.
So like if you're taking a walk, I even saw this, they called it mindful walking. Mm-hmm. And that just means walking without your phone. It's just going for a walk.
I don't know if I would do that just because, you know, what if my daughter's calling me?
See, you're guilty of it.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's in my mind, what could happen between here and the mile or two I'm going to walk, and I may need my phone.
Yeah. Well,
but I like the idea. I mean, obviously, we used to do it all the time, everything with our phone.
But so I guess in this situation, it's if you're walking with a lady, right, or if it's just you two walking down the street, the right gentleman thing to do is the gentleman walks closest to the street.
Okay.
And that's another little thing that often gets overlooked, but it's supposed to be that way, right? So the gentleman is closest to the curb, and the woman walks to his right side.
And you may have to switch positions every now and then because you turn the street or you cross the street or you turn around. And so as a guy, you really have to be cognizant of, I got to get back on this side again.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's, I don't know, maybe we should look it up, but I don't know why that is. Maybe
the guy gets safety thing.
The guy gets mowed down first.
Exactly.
You know, 2 seconds earlier.
Yeah.
I guess if they both get mowed down. So
well,
I don't know.
If a car drives by and splashes water from the side of the street, you know, you will get more wet than she will.
Right.
It's a safety thing. It's like, hey, I'm protecting you from the small chance that someone runs us over.
Right. Unless you're wearing a nice suit.
It'll be mostly me.
She should take the hit.
I guess. I don't. But no, that's a good one. I don't think most men think of that anymore. And to be honest with you, I have to think about it when I'm doing that.
I think I got called out on that
years ago. I have
ago.
once before.
Yeah.
Because you may be thinking of other things as you're walking. Or, hey, look at that. There's an ice cream shop over there.
Or you just forget, right? Like you're in a relationship for a bunch of years and it's just like, oh yeah, you're
well, this is the point. So you mentioned teaching your son how to shake hands and then, you know, again, later on in life, and then my dad, these things it's constantly sharpening the blade.
Right.
It's not one and done. It's not, I learned it. It's in my memory bank. I'm going to practice it for the rest of my life. No, you always have to remind yourself to do these things. So this is more of those are all basic manners, but not in relationships, but it could be in a sense. But if someone invites you to a party, you know, housewarming party, particularly, for example, but, you know, a Thanksgiving dinner or a Super Bowl party, whatever the case may be,
right?
This host, and if you don't host and you don't think about this, but I've hosted a number of things at my house before. This host is for days thinking about the party, going to the store, buying supplies, cleaning the house, doing yard work. They're doing all these things so they can be a gracious host and you can have a good time. And they want to present themselves well, make their house look good, smell good,
Right.
have all the food, whether it's catered or they had to cook it, which means they had to go to the store. And there's a lot involved and there's cost. The least you can do is bring something to the party.
Yeah.
Bottle of wine.
Don't show up empty-handed.
Yeah, some hummus dip. I don't know. And don't text them and say,
What do you want me to do?
can I bring something
Yeah.
over or should I bring something? You could ask, hey, is there anything in particular I can bring? I was thinking of bringing X.
Right.
You can let them know you're going to bring something. But if they want something particular or they need something,
Yeah.
because they might even say, hey, since you're on the way, could you also pick up a bag of ice?
Yeah.
Be happy
Easy.
to.
Right.
That's easy. But you should definitely come with something.
Yeah. And that also goes for like, if you're going to go like on a first date or something like that, maybe not, doesn't always have to be flowers or something like that. But a friend of mine once told me, imagine if if you invite a female over to your house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she shows up with your favorite 6-pack, right?
Mhm.
And it's like, wow, like that's so thoughtful. You know, when you put it like that, I was like, man, that's really cool, right?
Yeah.
And so ever since I heard that, it was like, all right, well, if I show up to especially a female's house, right?
Yeah.
You got to take something, right? A little something, a flower, I don't know, flower, a candle of some sort.
Right. Particularly if you're going to meet family. Family's going to be there. It's a family event.
Yeah.
You know, a bottle of wine is real easy. Fruit tray, veggie tray, something that says, you know, I'm not, like you said, I'm not coming empty-handed. I'm coming to join the party,
Right.
be a part of the party, and share.
Here's a small little
Yeah.
contribution.
Yeah, exactly. It's super easy, and everybody should do it every single time.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. So we talked about, you know, shaking hands, introducing yourself, saying hello, greeting people. Let's come full circle.
Yeah. So what happens at the end of that party,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or if you're invited to somebody else's house, or say your friend invites you over to their aunt's house,
Yeah.
and you're like, hey man, thanks for this food, and you turn around and leave. No, the right thing is, well, and in the Mexican tradition, you got to say bye to everybody,
I
right?
know.
You got to say, and that might take another 30, 45 minutes just to
And
go through the
shake
rounds.
their hands.
You got to shake their hands. You
Not
got to,
just say goodbye, like
Yeah.
wave to them. You got to literally shake every person's hand
yeah,
in that gathering.
right. Or it's rude, right?
Yeah.
And so you got to, especially the host of the house, right? You got to go over there, shake their hands, thank them for their hospitality,
Exactly.
Delicious food. Thank you so much for taking the time to
I
invite
enjoyed
me.
myself. Thank
It was
you so
awesome,
much. Yeah.
right? And then you leave on a high note, right?
Yeah.
You leave showing that you appreciated it, and hopefully they will want you back in their home.
Yeah.
I really, let's just hit that part a little bit. Anytime anybody invites you into their home,
Yeah.
I think that's a huge deal,
Right.
You know, because they don't have to, and some people, they really just don't want people in their home, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody opens their home to you and says, "Hey, come on in, make yourself at home," and blah blah blah, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, it really is. Whether it's your friends' parents or your neighbors or whoever, you know, when people invite you, again, putting yourself out there, it's a really good idea to follow through, thank them, and let them know with a sincere, you know, like, hey, I really appreciate you taking the time to invite me over to this event, whatever it is.
Yeah. It goes a long way. And for the younger men listening, as you're dating and you're meeting parents, or you're going over to family functions, you're meeting family, right?
Yeah.
Plural, not just parents, but aunts and uncles, right? Tias, grandparents,
Right.
brothers, sisters, whatever. Yeah, it's really important to say hello to everyone.
Right.
And hopefully she's also got some really great advice along the way. So she's bringing you around and introducing you to everyone.
Yeah.
So you don't have to introduce yourself. Now you know them, you met them, but you're gonna have to make that same circle
Oh,
right,
yeah.
as before you leave the house and
Yep.
shake everyone's hand, look at them in the eye, thank
Right.
them, good to meet you. And then what's gonna happen is the moment you leave, they're gonna talk about you,
Oh yeah.
and it's gonna go one or two directions.
Right.
What a nice young man.
Right.
What a his parents raised him well.
Yeah.
Respectful.
He was so so polite.
Yeah. Or can you believe that guy?
Yeah, get rid of that guy. Right.
Mija, you can do better than that.
Right.
He just came and ate.
Yeah.
Didn't
Can you imagine?
Didn't bring anything.
Yeah.
Didn't say goodbye. He just sat there and watched TV,
Didn't
watch
talk
the
to
game.
anybody.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to talk about you.
Right.
You might as well leave your best impression,
Yeah.
your best first impression, and let them talk about you in positive ways. And they're going to want to see you again, invite you back.
Well, it's funny, as we're talking about this, I'm remembering when my son was in high school, and I would take him to go pick up somebody for a little date or something like that, and I would tell him, hey, you need to go, you can't honk, right? No honkers, right?
Oh gosh.
You can't honk at the door. You can't honk on the street. Hey, I'm here, honk, honk, right?
That's
you can't
terrible.
do that, right? Do we really need to talk about that stuff?
Don't let
honk,
someone's
right?
dad come out and say, who are you honking for? This is my daughter. You better come in here and
Oh
knock on
my
the door and
gosh.
say hello.
Yeah. And so you'd get a good embarrassment, right? So no honking. And I would tell my son, you got to get down and you got to go knock on the door, and then you got to talk to the mom. And if the mom wants to meet me, I'm more than happy to go out there and meet him, right?
Yeah.
But my son had to get out, open the door, and I would make him do that. Even though I was the chauffeur, I was like, you need to get out and you need to go do all these things because you need to show that you're not just doing a drive-by honk honk and your dad's.
We're here.
Yeah.
Or now it would be texting, hey,
yeah.
outside.
Come on out, right?
It's outside. Yeah. No.
So old school stuff like that, it goes a long way. Hopefully people are still practicing that. Hopefully parents are still enforcing that with their kids.
Right.
But even if you don't have anybody to tell you, hey, you shouldn't just pull up and honk, maybe for your bro, but if you're picking up a date or somebody like that, then that's absolutely not.
Those are good points because, like you said, not everyone has a dad or a father figure who's instructed them along the way.
Yeah.
But it's not an excuse, right? You want to be a man, you're going to have to learn some of these things, and maybe through some trial and error.
Yeah.
But this is kind of what the podcast is also about, is creating community.
Right.
So if you don't know, ask another guy. Ask someone who you think, hey, that guy's got it together. It could be a teacher, could be a coach, could be a pastor, could just be a coworker, a neighbor, and say, that guy's something about him, he's got it together. I want to reach out to him, open up and say, hey, I have this issue or this question, or how do you tie a tie? Can you help me tie a tie?
Oh yeah, there's a bunch of stuff, right?
Right. So
I'm really happy with this episode. This really turned into something really positive and again, something that sounds simple, and it is simple, but somebody needs to tell you along the way, how to do this stuff. And we probably aren't giving it its full service, if you look at it different angles.
One Bro Tips episode. We'll have other Bro Tips episodes where we have other pieces of advice dealing with all kinds of things. But this is a great starter kit. Thanks for listening to this Bro Tips episode. And hey, vatos, remember, pónganse trucha.